Welcome back to the Warehouse Podcast. My name is Jesse. This is a really, really exciting episode of the Warehouse Podcast. Samuel Basallo is now on the Baltimore Orioles and is now officially an Oriole. Oriole fans have been waiting for this day for so long, and it's finally here. He made his major league debut yesterday against the Houston Astros. I will get into the specifics of the game, but overall, he had a great performance. It was really, really exciting to watch. Every time I think he came up to the plate, there was a lot of anticipation upon Oriole fans. So it was really, really an exciting game. A great game for him to debut in because the Orioles had such an excellent performance overall. And he did really well as well. So I will sort of get into that a little bit. Um, it is worth noting also, well, before I say that, Samuel Basallo was informed about his promotion to the Orioles by his father, who was, there's a video that has been circulating of the moment, as there often is when major leaguers, especially top prospects, get promoted to the majors. There is this video that is circulating of Basayo being informed by his father. Very touching moment overall. Pretty cool that his dad was able to be the one that told him. I don't know about the dynamics of their relationships, but why it was their dad rather than their mom or something like that. But it was nice that a family member got to inform him rather than Elias or the GM or the AAA manager, how it often is done, informing them. So that was really nice to see. I think it's sort of the moment captured in the video sort of met, I think, the magnitude of the moment, not only for Basayo himself, but also for Oriole fans. It's nice to see that there's this nice video that people will be able to see for a long time at least, where Basayo gets informed that he is being called up to the majors. So really, really exciting all around. I think if anybody watched the game, I know that I certainly was. I had seen video of him before, but actually seeing him on the Orioles, it really stands out how massive a guy he is, how big a presence he is. You see him, he gets in the batter's box. He has this pretty wide open stance from the left-hand side, and it was really, really cool to see. He's a very powerful presence, or a very potentially especially when pitchers have knowledge of his skills, sort of combined with his physical presence in the box, potentially a little bit you know increases the heart rate of the pitcher, especially potentially if there are guys on base, etc. So, or if it's a big spot. So, um, yeah, Basayo is now in Oriole. I don't anticipate him having to go down at all. Not only this year, but in the following years. I'm not worried about Basayo eventually getting optioned. I don't think that will happen. And especially if he continues to hit how he hit yesterday and how everybody seems to know how he can hit. I think Oriole fans don't have to worry about that. Basayo is an Oriole to stay. So it's really, really exciting. It is worth noting just a little bit. Just the day before, Dylan Beavers did get the call as well to the major league team, under a bit different circumstances, of course. But Dylan Beavers is now also on the major league team. We will probably circle back to do a more in-depth episode on Dylan Beavers. And but This episode is going to start sort of focus on Samuel Basayo. I actually, whether this was the intention or not, I think there might have been some deliberation behind this. I can't, of course, guarantee what was in their heads or anything like that. But I do think that it was interesting that Beavers got the call the day before Basayo. I think it actually makes a lot of sense. And I think that, um, I think in my mind, at least, the reason why the Orioles did that, of course, you want to have it on separate days so they each sort of have their moment. Everything, you want to be sort of rolled out gradually, so everybody has their moment sort of in the spotlight. But I think it was sort of important that Beavers got the call first because if Basayo had gotten the call first and Beavers had gotten the call the following day or a couple days after, or whatever the case may be, I think the attention largely still would have been focused on Basayo. So everybody, even though Beavers is making his major league debut on a given day, I think the mindset among Oriole fans would have been, it's Samuel Basayo's second day in the majors, and that sort of would have been the focus of the attention. I know that I would have tuned into the game, in particular, to see more Basayo than Beavers. Despite Beavers being, I mean, I think there's been a lot of discussion. Beavers has been very, very good offensively in AAA. It'll be exciting to see what he can do while he's up here in the majors. But he definitely would have been overshadowed had Basayo made his debut before Beaver. So, not to hmm, not to further sort of I guess increase the shadow or not to further yeah, I guess to further contribute to the shadow that exists over Dylan Beavers right now in Samuel Basayo's presence, and not just Beavers, to be honest, but the rest of the Orioles team. I think that Samuel Basayo probably has the interest of Oriole fans more or less for the rest of the year. I think overall, I think it doesn't make a lot of sense as Oriole fans. I don't think there are too many Oriole fans that really are excited to see how the Orioles handle the bullpen the rest of the way. Yeah, so I think from here on out for the regular season, of course, there are other things that Oriole fans will be looking for, but I think Samuel Basayo, his performance, he will have a major spotlight on him for the rest of the year. It is very, very interesting to sort of think about a little bit. We went through a similar experience a few years ago when Adley Rutschman made his major league debut to the majors. Um, we know about the positive impact that Adley Rutschman has had. We know about their success prior to this year starting. Basically since the moment Adley had been called up to the major league team. So there had been a lot of positives, of course, that have resulted from Adley Rutschman making the major league team. I think it's more or less fair to say he's lived up to the expectations. I think it's also more or less fair to say he hasn't exceeded them a whole lot, but I think he's definitely lived up to the expectations. Of course, there were people that had potentially Hall of Fame expectations or for him or whatever, and obviously those weren't probably realistic, but I think it is fair to say he has lived up to expectations with the debut of Samuel Basayo. I think that likely there actually is even more excitement about his major league debut, just in general, about the impact that he could have on the team. Of course, I don't want to, note that, not everything needs to be compared to one another. Not everything needs to be sort of magnified in that way. Oh, Basayo was more important than Adley. I'm not saying that at all. And we all know Adley had a huge amount or a huge impact on the Orioles doing as well as they had the last 2 years, making the postseason, etc. So, this is not a diminishment of Adley, but I think you think about the ages, for instance, of their major league debuts. Adley was in his mid 20s by the point he by the time he had his major league debut. And Samuel Basallo just turned 21 a few days ago. He's now the youngest player in Major League Baseball. So it's just really, really, really exciting. I think he had a really exciting performance yesterday that sort of encapsulated the excitement of Oriole fans. So I will talk a little bit about what the plan is for him moving forward. I will talk about the game going in. The plan, I did talk a little bit about Basayo in the episode, my last episode at least, where I spoke about Kobe Mayo and Ryan Mountcastle on the team, but we did get a little bit of insight as to what the plan forward for Basayo is going to be, which does sort of complicate things. But and then I'm going to sort of talk a little bit more about sort of what has stood out about him, what stands out about him, etc. So as far as going into the game, he had four. I'm sorry, he had five plate appearances yesterday, but he had four at bats. So in his first plate appearance against Christian Javier, he was actually down in the count, ended up getting hit by a pitch. So a very sort of interesting way to have a very interesting result of his first at bat. Potentially, it was a little bit what I had referenced earlier about the heart rate going up of Javier, even though I think that doesn't really happen with him. I think if anything, if anybody knows anything about his MLB history, um, his experiences in the playoffs and World Series, I think it's more or less fair to say that Javier probably doesn't have issues with his heart rate increasing. Just as a little bit of a side note, I have liked Christian Javier as a player for a long time, as a pitcher for a long time. So I definitely have a lot of great things to say about him, as well as other guys on that Houston Astros pitching staff, or historically, I'm mainly thinking about, but also, of course, Framber Valdez, but not to get sidetracked here from the main thing. But yeah, basically, yeah. So Samuel Basayo did end up having a he got hit by a pitch in the game yesterday in his first plate appearance. In his second plate appearance, at that time, it was not Christian Javier. He had been replaced at that point. This was a sort of a note that was made during the game yesterday by Kevin Brown. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was by Kevin Brown. That he had faced five different pitchers in the game, which is really, really interesting. So yeah, that probably does not happen a lot, as he speculated. You get five at bats in a game, and they're all against different pitchers. Although when you have a bullpen game, sometimes it does happen, or I guess it could happen. I haven't looked into the statistics on that, but if a pitcher goes out there, throws an inning, and they piece together a bullpen game, I could imagine that happening. Christian Javier only threw four yesterday due to his return from injury related issues. So he had a short start. So he had initially been hit by a pitch to start the game. And his second at bat, yeah, he came up with guys on base, or with a guy on. I think it was if I'm remembering right, I think it was a first and third situation, but it might have just been first and second, actually. Let me see here real quick while I am figuring this out. Um, so let's see. Yeah, okay, no. So it was just a first and third situation. Colton Cowser had gotten a single, so we had the leadoff guy at that point. And it looked, yeah, the second at bat, or sorry, the first at bat, the second plate appearance, did not go very well. Well, the net result of what happened was not very good. He hit into a ground ball double play. However, looking at it off the bat, it did look like he hit it pretty hard. And that is sort of confirmed by the stats. He hit the ball 90 and a half miles an hour, 90.5 miles an hour, which is pretty decent. It's not amazing, but it is pretty good. So he hit it was a one hopper, a short hop, but a one hopper to the shortstop, and they turned a double play. So it was kind of unfortunate. He easily had, if he had hit it just slightly different, it easily could have gone into left field for a base hit. But it turned into a double play. So that was sort of unfortunate. And then the next at bat was similarly an out. Yeah, and the next at bat he had popped out to third base. The third baseman, I believe it was in foul territory. Yeah, well, it was in foul territory. So he popped out to the third baseman for that at bat. Following, he came up again in the seventh inning. And this is where he hit a ball to deep, deep right field. Off the bat, I sort of actually, I mean, for what it's worth, I did sort of read it correctly. I thought it was it was, I kind of had the feeling it was going to be a warning track out off the bat or a home run if it was able to get out, but I did have a feeling it was going to be really close. And oh my gosh, Gary Sanchez, not Gary Sanchez, that's our player, but Jesus Sanchez for the Astros, basically pulled it out of the stands. He did quote unquote rob Basallo of a home run. Earlier in the game, he had quote unquote robbed Gunnar Henderson of a home run. Now, when I say robbed of a home run, not trying to, it did at least seem, I don't exactly have confirmation of this. I don't have like a side angle of whether it had, crossed over the wall. But for each of them, it did seem as if they had been going over the wall or they were uh, on trajectory, I guess, without the fielders interfering, to have been a home run. But yeah, basically, when, I think of a home run robbery, I think of Mullins climbing the wall or Ken Griffey or Mike Trout climbing the wall in center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. had a few of those as well. Climbing the wall in center field or in any outfield to sort of pull back a home run. Jesus Sanchez, because of how short this wall is in right field, had the ability basically just to put his glove up in the air and jump slightly, and he was able to catch the ball. Now, not to, of course, they both had the ability at least to be high impact plays because he was taking away basically what could have been two home runs, Gunners being a grand slam if it had gone over, and Basallo's not being a grand slam, but yeah, I guess there were a few guys. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think there were a few guys on base, but I'm not exactly sure how many. Yeah, so it seems like it was. Yeah, so it was second and third when Basallo had done that. Um, yeah, so it was he had runners on second and third. So, but I say that it wasn't really high impact plays because the Orioles just ran away with the game. Ended up winning the game in total 12 to nothing. So they didn't end up being that significant. But in terms of like the effort or not the effort, because of course he did what was required, but I wouldn't think of either of those home run robberies as elite home run robberies. If MLB Network ever does a top 100 MLB robberies or something like that, or a top 20 or whatever, I don't think either of Jesus Sanchez's will make that list. But in any case, they were both good plays. But yeah, not as cool perhaps as home run robberies could be. Um, so at that point, he was 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch, even though he had made good contact on two of them. I should also just note the home run that was taken away by Basallo, or the assumed home run that was taken away that was hit by Basallo, came off Caleb Ort, and the exit velocity was 95 miles an hour. So he hit that really, really well. And then yeah, the last one came off De Los Santos, a pretty good reliever for the Houston Astros. And this is where basically Basayo had his big moment, where he roped a two-run single into right center field. Um, yeah, I think it's more or less fair to say it was right center if my memory is holding up well. Yeah, the center fielder probably fielded the ball, although I'm not fully sure. But although Statcast is marking it as straight away, so um, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, it's sort of actually, yeah, no. I think right center field is a fair characterization of this. It didn't go into the gap, of course, because it was just a single. It was a line drive that was not did not it was not very high up into the air because it was a rope. So but he laced it though. Yeah, as it was 101 miles an hour off the bat. It had been a pitch that was pretty up in the zone, so he got his hands pretty up in the air to meet the ball. I mean, potentially it might have been more center of the zone than up in the zone, but I would at least say it was in the top half of his strike zone. Just going off my memory. So, but yeah, absolutely, it was a great hit. The exit velocity was great, 101 miles an hour. So he really had a game where he could have been 3 for 4. I know you can't say that about baseball because there are fielders out there. If things had gone slightly differently, on two of the outs, he could have been 3 for 4. But in any case, yeah, settled for 1 for 4 with a couple RBIs, got a big hit. Of course, his family, who had made it out to the game, was celebrating in the stands. They were all, of course, really, really excited after the hit. Um, so yeah, really, really cool to see. Glad he got the first hit out of the way. I do think that is sort of an important thing for hitters at the major league level. Of course, nerves could still be a thing for Basayo as he continues. But in general, he's not one of the guys that he's one of the guys that should feel more comfortable at the major league level. Sort of as I said before, he's not somebody that will I don't think really has any chance of going back down to AAA. Um, so I think that yeah, if anybody, there are guys that make their major league debuts, and who knows, and they get called up, but there's a good chance that they will be sent back down to the minors. We do know, like Jackson Holiday last year did get sent back down to the minors for comparison. So there is a chance, but uh, that there is a chance, I guess, that Basayo. But if anybody should feel like they're on the major league team to stay, I think that he is one of them, and I think that allows him to just sort of relax, feel good about his time, about his performance, etc. And yeah, hopefully he could just relax and play to the best of his ability. I think watching the game yesterday, there is a lot of reason to be really, really excited. The Orioles did sort of, I think, pretty strategically um have him DH in the game yesterday, so we didn't see anything from him behind the plate. That'll be interesting to see as we keep going forward here. Mansolino did clarify a little bit some of the plan, which I had sort of speculated about a little bit, that he would sort of rotate a bit between first base, DH, and catcher. So we actually should see him at first and at catcher. Maybe in the coming week, hopefully. That's the plan, I think, at least. So that would be really exciting to see him on the defensive side as well. Of course, it'll be cool to see him play first, just to kind of see what he looks like over there a little bit. It's kind of hard to, yeah, it'll be cool to see what he kind of looks like over there. Um, Trying to visualize him. We'll see, but it'll, in particular, at least for me, be interesting to see what he looks like behind the plate. As I sort of mentioned, he is a really big guy. So it'll be cool to see him behind the plate, seeing him a little bit in the minors and footage of him in the minors. It'll be cool to see him in the bigs behind the plate. And hopefully we'll be able to see him show off that arm that we know he has, and that is such a big characteristic of his game, at least defensively. So, yeah, really, really, I think a big, and positive major league debut for Basayo. Can't really understate the significance of this. I think that he is sort of in a a very, very elite category, I guess, for prospects coming up to the majors, in the sense that I think that scouts and the rest of the league is just fascinated to see how he's going to do. I think that Oriole fans should be extremely, extremely excited to see and to watch him as he continues to play. Of course, we're wishing him the best of luck and hope he continues to have great offensive performances and then defensive performances when he is called upon to do that. I do just want to, yeah, just, I talked a little bit about the exit velocities from some of his swings yesterday. Um, yeah, from some of the contact he made yesterday, I should clarify. So I talked about the exit velocity, but I will just talk a little bit about one part of his game that is really, really exciting. So as of now, one thing that is also really exciting as part of his game is just his bat speed, right? So basically, just to sort of emphasize that, there was uh, a swing that he had in the game yesterday that was over 85 miles an hour. You can find this on Statcast. I will do something that my co-hosts do, that I really don't do often. But this is the screen right here. And right here, this is sort of, I guess, the standard deviation, or this is yeah, sort of the standard deviation, or yeah, let me say it a better way, the bat speed distribution of his bat speed so far. Of course, he's had so few swings so far in the major leagues. As you see here, his average bat speed is 76.4 miles an hour. Um, yeah, which is right here, which you can see is already sort of, if you look at this bell curve here in the dark gray, it's already looks as if it's a standard deviation away from the midpoint or whatever. Um, but yeah, he also had a swing yesterday that was 86 miles an hour, which is incredible. A lot of players in Major League Baseball don't get anywhere near that sort of bat speed. Of course, bat speed, I don't think I really need to rehash, but is really, really important. in terms of creating good exit velocity, and by extension making good contact. So he had a swing that was 86 miles an hour yesterday. I am pretty sure. Yeah, 86. And his average is 76. So if you look at the fast swing rate in Major League Baseball, a fast swing is characterized by a swing that was 75 miles per hour or more of bat speed. So his average so far has been 76.4, so which is over the average bat speed. So all that to say, which it doesn't always work like this because sometimes you get fooled and you have what's referred to as a sword, and it doesn't always work like this. But let's imagine so far, let's just say he had a his average bat speed of 76 miles an hour was what he did every swing. Every single one of his swings would be characterized as a fast swing. So, it does just speak to his bat speed. It speaks to what his power, where he gets a lot of his power from. The bat speed, of course, is going to be able to develop the power, and is a characteristic of why he is a power hitter. We did also see in the game yesterday what bat speed can be useful for going the other way. As I mentioned, the ground ball that he hit into the double play that he hit over 90 miles an hour. That ball, it was uh the I'm sorry, I sort of lost my train of thought. The bat speed, having a high bat speed in Major League Baseball allows you to wait for the ball to get deeper in the strike zone, which then allows you to go the other way when the situation requires it. So he is definitely going to I think it's definitely worth noting he does have power to all directions. And part of the reason that he does that and that he can afford to do that is because he has a really quick bat at the plate. So that'll be something really, really interesting to watch as we continue to move forward. Um, yeah, a 76, let's just say that if he were to continue having a 76 mile an hour average bat speed, that would put him above people like Gunnar Henderson even. So it really does sort of just demonstrate a little bit like the significance of the bat and how that is such a significant tool that he has. Um, One of the other cool things about the game yesterday is that he didn't strike out, and Basayo did in AAA. The one sort of blemish a little bit um, on his offensive numbers was his high strikeout rate, which is okay, sort of, or it's tolerable in combination with all the other tremendous numbers that he has. Some really, really great hitters in Major League Baseball have high strikeout rates as well. So it's not the end of the world, but it was nice to see that in the game yesterday, he didn't have a strikeout, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I think it's fair to say with a rope to run single combined with what could have been a home run that was taken away, it was a really, really exciting major league debut for Samuel Basallo. In a few days, he is going to come back home and make his Orioles major league debut or his home major league debut, which will also be really, really exciting for Oriole fans. Really hoping that that stadium is completely sold out that day. I think that Oriole fans, we should definitely come out to support both him and Beavers making their Orioles debut. So, and I will also, just as a side note, I do hope that the Beaver, as a nickname for Dylan Beavers, catches on, and that we can just call him the Beaver moving forward. I think that'd be a cool nickname for him. And beavers are pretty cool animals, so yeah, that'd be great. In any case, I think Oriole fans have all the reason to be really, really excited about Basayo. The Orioles, of course, are hoping that he can go on to win Rookie of the Year next year. That's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I think it's fair to say, more or less, that he is already in contention for that title next year. So the Orioles organization, because of the benefits that come along with him being a rookie, etc., um, will want him, to win Rookie of the Year. But yeah, so it's just yeah, just so much excitement. I think so much excitement for Samuel Basallo is warranted right now. It's really, really exciting to see him on this team. It'll be really exciting to see him move around the field, play different positions. Hopefully he hits a few actual home runs that don't get robbed in the coming weeks. And then we set up for 2026. And yeah, I mean, I do think, there is still sort of a lot to figure out with him. Um, sort of testing the waters about his position, trying to make sure he's good health wise. He is just so young, right? And his health is should be a top priority of this Orioles organization. But in any case, yeah, really, really exciting to see. I'll be really excited to continue talking about him. And Samuel Basallo is now a Baltimore Oriole, which is really, really amazing. So, all right, I think that'll wrap it up for this episode. Thank you all so much for listening. As you all know, I'll sort of go through the regular things. Please follow the show, give us a 5-star rating and review. We have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Comment with any thoughts that you might have. Please email the show, thewarehousepod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky at The Warehouse Pod. Thank you so much for listening. Welcome to Baltimore, Samuel Basallo. This has been The Warehouse Podcast. My name is Jesse, and go O's.